Breaking news here on Ravens Rundown. The Baltimore Ravens have signed free agent wide receiver Russell Gage. We have talked a lot on this channel over the last few months of the Ravens' need at the wide receiver position, and they finally got their guy. We will tell you everything you need to know about Russell Gage and react to this news coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Joey Petersen going to join me here in a moment. Folks, this is why you subscribe. Look, we put out a video earlier today, and here we are with another video. That means that something big has happened here on a Ravens Rundown. For daily Baltimore Ravens news and rumors, anytime there's breaking news, we're going to be all over it here. We cover the Baltimore Ravens like no one else does. Subscribe now for free. I want to get at least 30 subs off today's video. Make it happen. YouTube.com/RavensTV. The post from Jeff Zebrick of The Athletic making the news official, saying the Ravens have signed veteran wide receiver Russell Gage. He is practicing today. So Gage already passes his physical. He's ready to jump on the football field right away and compete for playing time. Joey, let's break this down. Bringing in Russell Gage, we knew that the Ravens were needing some receiver help after not bringing back Odell Beckham Jr. They hadn't really replaced him up until this point. The idea was that Rashod Bateman would be promoted to the number 2 receiver role. Nelson Agholor would move up to the number 3 spot. But I never felt like that was quite good enough. And now you bring in a guy like Russell Gage, who we'll see what the contract details play out to be. But I can't imagine that he's going to be too much money here. A guy that has been a quality receiver throughout his career, coming off a torn pec injury that kept him out all of last season. But I think this is a good fit for what the Ravens were looking for with their cap limitations and the need at the wide receiver position.
I couldn't agree more. It's really funny. I really do think John Harbaugh is watching the show. We talked about Connor Williams last week. We talked about bringing in a wide receiver last week. And these 2 videos today, all about those 2 things. What I think Russell Gage brings more than anything is competition. And I think that is a great thing for this wide receiver room right now. You said Nelson Agholor got the bump up to 3rd wide receiver when Rashod Bateman got the bump up to wide receiver 2. But to bring Russell Gage in here to just add some more competition to this wide receiver room that needs some competition, I think is great. I love the fact that he's already practicing, like Zebrick already said. I love the fact that he's getting in there, getting reps with Lamar Jackson, with all these guys. And I'm excited to see him this Friday in preseason, next week after that, and we'll see if he can make a really good push to be the wide receiver 3.
Well, think about this too, folks. Let's say, for all intents and purposes, that Russell Gage, if it takes him a while to adapt and play a pivotal role in this offense, whatever it may be, and that very well could be the case, it is, I would say, very likely that you are going to have some injuries in this receiver room, that when the season begins, you might not have Flowers, Bateman, Agholor all healthy. And now you've given yourself an insurance policy, if you will, with adding that depth. And also the Tez Walker question. I know some of you right away are going to say, well, what about Tez Walker? Hasn't he looked good this offseason? The 4th-round pick out of North Carolina. Wasn't he supposed to be the wide receiver 4 and all that? Well, he was a 4th-round pick. He's a rookie. There's going to be some growing pains. That's not going to be overnight. Now you feel a lot better. Now you have other pieces, whether it's an injury, whether it's taking a guy longer to develop, whatever it may be. Now you feel a lot better about this circumstance if you're Baltimore in this receiver room of just giving that comfort, if you will, to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and we've said it for the past week. You don't need a guy to come in here and catch for 1,000 yards. You've got a guy already that's going to do that in Zay Flowers. You got a guy in Mark Andrews that's going to get close to 700, 800 yards.
And you should see Isaiah Likely more this year as well on the field with Andrews.
1,000%. You don't need a guy to go over 1,000. You need a guy that's going to replace all the production you lost from OBJ. I truly think that Russell Gage can be a guy who can get 500, 600 yards for you. He's had 2 700-yard seasons in his career. We'll look back at that in a little bit. But just again, I think this is a guy that can replace the production that OBJ gave us last year, and that's all we kind of need.
Exactly. What's your one-word reaction to the Ravens signing Russell Gage. I'll give you my one-word reaction. Joey will give you his one-word reaction here in a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. Weigh in the comment section and let us know what that is. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets for the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer gets the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying for last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Maybe you want to go see Russell Gage and the Baltimore Ravens coming up later this week in their first preseason game. You can do so on Game Time. You can also get tickets to Orioles games and other events within the Charm City. Choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, get the visual, and then check out just like that with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Joey, my one-word reaction is solid. This is a solid move for the Baltimore Ravens. And what is the theme that we've talked about all offseason on this show is that the Baltimore Ravens are trying to keep pace, not with the Pittsburgh Steelers, not with the Cleveland Browns, not even the Cincinnati Bengals for that matter, or the Buffalo Bills, or the Miami Dolphins. It's one team and one team only they're trying to keep pace with, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. And what have we heard all offseason out in Kansas City? About how good that receiving core looks with adding Xavier Worthy, with adding Marquise Brown, Rashee Rice is back, and Travis Kelce, of course. Now, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you needed to bring in Russell Gage just to make it somewhat of a fair fight with Kansas City.
Yeah, 100%. And when you look at the stats, especially in that 2020-2021 season, 786 yards, 770 yards, almost 11 yards per catch in both those seasons, 4 touchdowns. And even in 2022, when he had a drop-off when it comes to the yards, he still had 5 touchdowns. And when you look at this wide receiver room, when you look at this wide receiver depth chart, this is one that he can climb up the ranks on. I see a guy like Zay Flowers. You're not knocking Zay Flowers off. Even Rashod Bateman as well. He's been having some pretty great days in camp in these past couple days. But Nelson Agholor, that's a guy that Russell Gage can pass. Tylan Wallace, Deontay Hardy. These are all guys that Russell Gage can come in here with the amount of experience he's had in the NFL and maybe grab a wide receiver 3 spot.
Joey, can we go back to the stat graphic for a moment here? There's something I want to point out to the folks when it comes to Russell Gage and these numbers that we're talking about here. 2022 statistics weren't bad, especially if it's in a wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 role. But if they can get out of him what they saw between 2019 and 2021, that is going to be more than enough for what the Baltimore Ravens offense needs from this receiving core. Not to mention, this is going to be a run-first football team anyway with Derrick Henry.
100%. And what I love about this signing is obviously the competition. I've talked about that before. But I love the fact that this team went ahead and signed someone who could compete. A lot of times you're signing people that you're like, okay, this is kind of a Hail Mary, right? Might be able to compete, might not, but I truly think Russell Gage will go in there, give Nelson Agholor a run for his money, and you know what they say, iron sharpens iron. At the end of the day, this is going to make one of the two of them better, probably both of them better. And I think that as the team, as the Baltimore Ravens, that's something that this team needs going into the season. They need a little bit of upgrade in that wide receiver room, and I think Russell Gage does that.
Grade the signing. What do you guys think? I'll give you my grade. Joey will give you his grade here in just a moment, but we want to hear from you guys first. A, B, C, D, or F. And you know what? I'm feeling nice, so you guys can use the plus-minus grading system if you will. Grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know in the comments section below. Joey, I'm going to go with an A- here. And the reason why I put the minus is just because he's coming off that torn pec. Missed all of last year. I don't know if he is going to be the same player he once was and how he'll hold up. But knowing that you got a pretty decent receiver at a relatively cheap cost and you should expect some decent production out of him, if he stays healthy, this is a big win. But we just don't know where he's at health-wise and how well he'll hold up. That's why I give this an A-. What's your grade?
I think A- is fair. I think mine's kind of near B+ or A-. I think it's not towards
Choose
that.
one, Joey.
I'm going A-.
Okay.
Way to hold me accountable, Tyler. I think that you're not going A+, because, again, this isn't a guy that's going to come in here and scare defenses and things like that. But this is a guy that's going to make this team better. And I think that's why you got to keep it in that A range. Again, you don't know about the health. But, like you pointed out earlier, health is always going to be a question mark at some point in the season for any one of these wide receivers. And to have a guy like this that even if he doesn't compete, and even if he is in that wide receiver 3 position, he's still such a solid piece to have in that depth chart, in that backup position, just in case injury does strike.
Yeah, and think about what we saw last year with Nelson Agholor. There wasn't much expectations for him, and Nelson Agholor was so solid throughout the years, the wide receiver 4 last year. If they get that out of Russell Gage, if he can overperform some, then this offense is going to be cooking. I can tell you that much. Joey, our second video of the day. Folks got to subscribe. I mean, where else are you getting 2 videos in a single day? Reacting to this news as quickly as we could. Instant reaction to bringing in Russell Gage. We got more to come this week. Got the watch party coming up on Friday, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe now. YouTube.com/RavensTV for continuing Ravens coverage. He's Joey Petersen. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.